Hey, what's up? Well, I'm back again, back with another video. Probably the first one, oh my goodness, that I've ever made in this room since I've been back from Halloween. And I hope the dog doesn't start barking. But, if everything goes well, I'll just have a video. I don't think I've worn this since February when I was starting to get sick, because it's so difficult to put this on. But, see, there's a bunch of crap over here that I'm trying to block. But anyway, what I would like to talk about in this video is how, just a really quick short video. I hope it'll be short. See how this is Mystic Topaz and it matches the galaxy theme of earrings, necklace, and bracelet. Well, what I'd like to talk about in this video, if time permits, time permitting, and dog permitting, or watching my sister's dog indefinitely, I want to talk about how, it just gave me an idea the other day when my dad said, like, that although my mom also voted for Trump, like, we basically voted Trump as a whole family, so anybody who doesn't like that, it's just too bad. And I think I might be losing friends across social media for admitting to my political beliefs. But it's kind of like D if I do, D if I don't. People on the left don't like me because I refuse to ever vote Democrat or align myself with Democrats. People on the right don't like me because I'm not your typical woman, and I don't want to have children and all that. So I can't really please anyone. I'm in a very unique position. So anyway, what I want to talk about in this video is how, leftists have this mentality. My dad was saying that even though my mom is a Trump supporter, she has a very liberal leftist mentality that if you can keep something from being said, then that makes it untrue. That if you can suppress the truth, then that basically means that it isn't the truth. It's only as true as, people knowing or believing it. Kind of like the proverbial bear taking a crap in the woods. If no one witnesses it, it's all one and the same, like it didn't happen. But, too bad the truth is still there, And so anyway, you could apply that to just so many things that basically summarize in a nutshell why I voted for Trump and why there's nothing that could ever dissuade me to do so, I mean, I am more likely to simply not vote at all than to ever vote Democrat, because that's a dirty word in our house. That's an insult. Being called a Democrat is basically being called a dumbass. They're basically Democrats, or Democrats, with the emphasis on rats. Okay, so, it's just so many things you could apply that principle to. So many people think that as long as no one finds out about something, or as long as the wrong people don't find out about something, that it's all one and the same, like it didn't happen. And I mean, there's just so many things where that is true. It's like basically everything that I'm angry about in my life pretty much just evolves around that principle. The subjects that make me the most angry just evolve around that one principle, that so many people in this world just do not believe in truth. And, that there truly is a truth, and that 2 + 2 is 4, always was, always will be. And, trying to trick me, it's just so infuriating just how stupid some people think I really am. They honestly think that because I collect dolls and have childlike interest, by many people's standards, that means that I am dumb and gullible and will believe anything. And I don't see a trick for what it is. They honestly think that they can, make me focus on 3 plus 3 being 6 to get my mind off of 2 plus 2 being 4. Like as if that somehow negates it in some way. But there are just so many things. I mean, it's basically, it's the parent of, the whole thing is just that some people's logic is such that, if you can keep people from finding out about it, or you can keep people from telling the truth, then you can stop it from being the truth. And, everything from the whole transgender subject, people think that, that if you could pass well enough to convince enough people that you're the opposite sex, that it would be all one and the same as if you were. I mean, too bad, it's just not the case, because the mere fact, see, they kind of out themselves in ways that they would never suspect. And what do I mean by that is like, the things that they think are outing them, like not having a big enough Johnson, from right, the bulge in their pants and crap like that, or not having a deep enough voice, or not being tall enough. The things that they think are a problem, with why a woman like me would never accept them as a substitute for a real man, were that what I was into. Like if I wanted a man, I would never in a million years accept an F to M as a substitute for that. But of course, the bottom line is I don't want someone in my life in that way. But what they think is a problem is really not what actually is, if you know what I mean. The fact that they cannot pee standing up and put urine all over the floor and the toilet seat and everything is not the issue that I would have with someone being genetically female as opposed to an actual male. It lies in the very fact. Well, they're leftists as all get out. They're more leftist than actual women. There's a higher percentage of just regular, ordinary women, if not moms, who voted for Trump than these F to M trannies. You know what I'm saying? These fake men, counterfeit men, that think they're so manly just because of the pitch of their voice or how much facial hair they can grow. But there's a higher percentage of elderly grandmas who had a bunch of kids who voted for Trump. And so what I see, they pride themselves on having male brains. But the reality is that if they truly had male brains, they would be more likely to vote for Trump, if you know what I mean. You would be more logic-minded. You would care more about the truth. And you wouldn't be dependent on the government to pay your way, and you wouldn't want to sell out your country, to all these other invaders, is what I'll call them. You would be more patriotic. You would be more likely to join the military, and you'd be more likely to vote for Donald J. Trump. And it's not so much, see, in my case, it isn't so much Trump the person, because that's all the left really has. It's always, it's never been about what are they going to do to make America great instead. It's always been about, we hate Trump, we hate the right, hate, we hate the right, we hate Trump, vote for us because we're not Trump. And, but that still just doesn't do it for me, because even if it were the case, that Trump is this womanizer and this horrible person, well, that still doesn't make me want a black female president named Kamala, for the first time ever, just like I didn't want Obama in 2008. The only thing I hated about John McCain was Sarah Palin, obviously. So if my parents and I are going to stand and support the weak Republicans like McCain and Bush and Romney and all them, I mean, we're certainly not going to turn on the Republican Party when they finally have the strong masculine leadership that I've always wanted since the 90s. FFS. I mean, if I could have had a freaking Donald J. Trump in 96, that unforgettable year, instead of stupid Bob Dole, who lost to Clinton, I would have wanted him then, even though I couldn't vote. Thank God. But the thing is, and it's only ever been that way. Before it was Trump, it was George W. Bush. They hated Bush. They blamed Hurricane Katrina on Bush. And so, it's just another verse to a stupid song. And so, it's just a very common theme. It's like Democrats just have this, if I don't want it to be true, I'll just try to stop it from being said mentality. I think, therefore I am. If I want the sky to be green, then I will just stop people from saying that it's blue. If I want the grass to be, purple, I'll just stop people from saying that it's green, and so on. And, it's just the same mentality. And so the fact that these FTM transgenders, they almost unanimously vote Democrat, it seems, or they definitely express support for Democrats, on social media. So by that regard, they're actually more feminine than women. So it wouldn't matter, if they could magically, just wave a magic wand and create a 12-inch you-know-what that functions like the real deal. They still wouldn't be a real man because they don't have, a real male ideology. You know what I'm saying? They don't think like a man. However much they pride themselves on being more masculine than most women, they don't think like a man. If all they can do is hate Donald Trump and want the government to raise taxes to pay for their stupid whatever, that's not a manly way to think. And so I would never want one of them, if I wanted a man. And I would never vote Democrat, ever, under no conditions, for a president. And so, that's basically what I feel. And it's just like that with everything. They apply that same principle to everything, including what I've been saying about that movie, which I refuse to repeat. Including everything. When they don't want something to be said, they just try to stop it from being said. They can't actually change the truth. They think they can just stop the truth from being said. So anyway, I'm really tired of all that. But I'd much rather hear about politics than sports. Because unlike the latter, the former could actually affect my life. And, I automatically lose respect when people say they're a Democrat or vote Democrat, no matter who they are. And especially for men, because it's like, what the hell do they stand to gain, by supporting Democrats? You know what I'm saying? What do they stand to gain from stuff like that, unless there's something about them that's weak? Because the very call for equality is an admission of inferiority. So if you're not an inferior person, you're not going to want policies that lift up the inferior people, if you know what I mean. If you're truly superior, you're not going to want equality. And so, yeah, I've just kind of always felt that way. Never identified with the marginalized, or, you know what I'm saying. Never identified with that. Never was a Democrat. My parents are not Democrats. And I'm not a Democrat. And I just cannot stand, it's not so much, like I said, it's not Donald Trump the person. It's the whole party and what it stands for, and that's truth and boundaries and right and wrong, black and white. This is wrong, this is right. And, it's just, the Democrats will never be a mentality that I can get behind. It never will. And I mean, it wouldn't matter who was running against Trump. You know, it could be like the best looking white male president ever, you know, like a JFK or something. I still wouldn't vote against the party that I know to be for truth and justice and so on, you know. And the mere fact, you know, these same people that have gaslit me for, well, not almost 5 years, because I've kind of stopped within the past year saying what I had been saying about the movie. But you know, these people that think they can stop it from being true by stopping me from saying it, when the reality is it can never be proven untrue, you know? Um, and so the harder they fight against me saying it, just further proves me right. You know, even if I had a little, you know, there was some shakiness in my confidence about what I've been saying, you know, the harder they protest, it's like the more steadfast I become. And so, yeah, you know, this mentality that if you want something to be true, then you can just stop people from saying otherwise, it's just not something that I stand for, and neither is the Democrat Party.